Welcome back to the last lesson in Design Foundations. We hope you've learned a ton of new things and you feel way more confident to design content now. In this final installment, we'll discuss using typography as a design element. It's important to remember that typography is more than just words on a page. It can be a powerful design element that shapes the visual experience. Whether the font you choose is bold and impactful or subtle and elegant, it adds depth and character to your visual storytelling. We'll touch on two topics: typography as form and typography as a visual voice. Both are unique ways of looking at type that go beyond titles, subtitles, and body text. Typography as a form relates to the art of turning words and letters into objects and shapes in a design. So instead of adding a title in the regular style like this, you can create something like this. Now, not only is the text functional, but it's also interesting and visually impactful. Let's look at more examples. This poster's title is Cook Like a Pro, but instead of having the title at the top and the quotes in a list below it, the title covers the full page and the quotes are handwritten above it. This magazine article cover not only uses large text for the title, it's also transparent. You can see the background photo through the letters, creating a visual illusion of the letters being cut out from the white area. This sales graphic uses the word sale in a large script font over the image of the model, and the accompanying text also has a presence, as you can see. This example shows you that you don't need to do much to use typography as form. Sometimes it only takes a little to make an impact with type. Here's another example of how you can turn a title into something more interesting. The text is laid sideways and each bit has its own color background. These two shapes on the top left diagonally mirror the edge of the boat on the bottom right. Finally, this poster design uses text in the background in a way that creates texture. You can't read what the text says, but it gives the design more depth than it would otherwise with a simple white background. Before we move on to the next section, let's take a moment to talk about expressive typography. This is a technique in which the form of the letters visually represents what the words mean. It's a practice used widely for creating logos, for example. Here are some examples. This is the word London twice that looked like a double-decker bus. Here's the word Van Gogh with the ear cut off. This is the word disco created with pieces of records. As you can see, letters and words can be much more than what they say. They can be shapes, they can tell stories, and they can even be expressive. Look for ways to use fonts creatively in your designs and create unique compositions. The next topic is how typography can have a voice depending on the way it looks. Expressive typography also has this quality, but in this case, the font itself is the one that carries that personality, not a custom shape. You might have seen a graphic like this on social, so it's highly efficient in visualizing how a font can send a message just by how it looks. On the left, the sentence, "I'll be waiting for you," feels sinister and spooky, while on the right, it feels cute and happy. The reasoning behind is that every font type has a personality and voice. For example, serif fonts are elegant and serious, while sans serif fonts are casual and laid back. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. The font you choose for your text carries its own story and message, so you need to choose accordingly. This phenomenon is also called font psychology, the science behind how every font has personality. When using typography as a design element, this principle holds even more weight. In this practice, you're choosing to make the font bigger, bolder, and more important so the message the font carries is enhanced. Let's look at more examples of how fonts carry personality and how it can help or hinder your storytelling. This is the cover for one of the Goosebumps books. The title is written in a custom font that resembles a creepy slime. It's a great example because just by reading the series title, you can tell what the books are about: horror stories for kids. Now look at this word. Doesn't the font look familiar? It's playful, handwritten, and it just reminds you of something. It's the Disney font. It's so well known that it's easily recognizable. If you wrote Disney in a different font, would it really have the same nostalgia effect? Probably not. This is another comparison of how a font can help the story or how it just doesn't work. As you can see on the left, the presentation cover for a corporate finance topic. The font is clean cut and easy to read, ideal for the message. On the right is the same design with a font that is inappropriate and out of context completely. Finally, here's the Harry Potter typographic logo, another great example of how to tell a story with type. The font itself is a custom design reminiscent of mystery and magic, but the most standout feature is the bottom of the letter P. It's the shape of the lightning bolt and the same that Harry Potter has on his forehead from his first encounter with Voldemort. Hopefully these examples have helped you understand how typography and fonts can be used as a design element beyond the words it contains. Font psychology is important in design. Give it the merit it deserves. Well, we've come to the end of our course. At this stage, you have all the basic tools to feel more at ease with designing. Remember that using templates can save you a lot of time and effort in the long run. They're a great base from which to work on. After some time, you can start designing from scratch, putting into practice all the tools you've learned in this course. Before you can receive the certificate for the course, you'll have to take a quiz to test your knowledge. You'll find these in the supplemental material for this lesson. Have fun with it, and I can't wait to see how well you do. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you around.